talk about now actually making what became known as the puppy episode.
Yeah, well, the once we decided that we were going to do it and everybody was more or less on board, um, uh, we didn't want to confirm it to anybody because we didn't. First of all, because we didn't want to go through months of just having to deal with the press issues on it. So just being able to say we can't confirm or deny anything was a much easier thing to say than yes, we're doing it, even though it becomes something of an open secret. When they finally did it, we talked about it, we talked about what happened, and wrote the script, and I loved the script that they wrote. I thought it was charming and funny and great, and I thought that Middle America would absolutely embrace it because it was everybody, so many people in this country have had kids or relatives who've come out of the closet. It's not like it's only happened to a bunch of urban elite people in Los Angeles and New York. This is something that everybody in Middle America has lived through, and I thought it was incredibly relatable, and I didn't think there'd be any problem. And I never thought, for Ellen, I never thought that she was unrelatable to Middle America. In fact, just the opposite. I thought Middle America got her instinctively and would love her, and I thought the script was great. And we started doing it, and there were a lot of I kept getting death threats on my answering machine at the office. Just weird kind of things kind of Jew boy, we're going to kill you. There were all these wackos out there, and Ellen, I think, was getting threatening stuff, and I had to have for a while I had to hire. We hired security guards outside my house in Beverly Hills. There were people who were, it was scary for a lot of people, and even on the Wednesday where we did the run through of the show, we had to clear it because it was a bomb threat, and right in the 2/3 of the way through, so we had to clear the stage. Somebody phoned in a bomb threat, so there was a lot of, by this point it had become part of the culture wars in the United States, I think, and which is not something that I anticipated or really had thought about when we first embarked on this. I don't think Ellen did either, to be honest with you. But I will say that the run-through was amazing. And that moment where we first saw the show and she comes out, it was, it was just it was a devastating moment. It was great. Everybody, we realized, I think everybody on that set, and that it was at the run-through, not at the, at the ultimate production. It was great too, but it wasn't the same thing. But at the run-through was the first time, if you sort of think about it, that had ever happened anywhere, and where she kissed, and Ellen started crying, and the producer started crying. It was a very moving moment for me as well, and it was great. We really felt that some special thing had been accomplished, or a line had been crossed that was important to cross. And for me, just personally, it was great because I have a lot of friends who are gay. I'm involved in the art world a lot. I collect contemporary art. Many artists are gay or lesbian, and it always, that kind of discrimination just outraged me, and on a personal level, it just really infuriated me. As it did Eisner, by the way, too. Disney had always been at the forefront of, pro-gay, the pro-gay movement, and as a company, it had always been very, very supportive of gay issues, and equal treatment, and so and a lot of my friends were calling me from New York, artists who were they were so excited, that this was going to happen, so it was great, and so it was great that it happened, and I was very pleased to be part of it. The night that it happened it was like just a big celebration. I knew as well that I have to say that once it happened, that it was also the death of the show, and it's not something that I ever admitted to anybody, and I certainly didn't make that argument to the network. But I knew that once you go down this path, there's really nowhere to go with it. from a storytelling point of view, unless you're going to do stories that are really only going to appeal to gay people. Because from a broad standpoint, a show about lesbians is about lesbian dating and about trying to find a partner. And I just thought it was going to be a very, very difficult thing for America to swallow at this point, and particularly for a broad American audience to swallow at this point. And they didn't. And, the show went on for another year. So it did give it enough life for one more year to get us into syndication and to get a sale out of it, which was really what I was charged with doing. And maybe even a little longer, but creatively, it was its high point, and it never managed to find what it was, because they kept trying to run away from the core of what it had to be, and there was no way to make. I mean, maybe if they'd really kind of gone after what it had to be, but I think that would have been very, very difficult for people to swallow at that point. That's really that's a cable show that could live off of a couple million people watching, but something that required 15, 20, 25 million people watching from middle America at that point, I don't think they were ready for that. So the show died, but it died gloriously, I have to say. And I was proud to be part of it.